Good morning, Strathallan, and good morning, SPS. I hope you're all doing well. It's a very cold, echoey church this morning with lots of snow around. I'm absolutely freezing. I hope you're nice and warm wherever you are. I have a couple of jokes today. One's a classic oldie, and the other one is a sort of religious joke in a funny sort of way. So the first one. Why do so many old people go to church? It's because they're cramming for their finals. And the second one, what creatures caused the most fear on Noah's Ark? The termites. Today, I want to talk a little bit about how much we can sometimes be fearful, how often we worry, how readily we can become anxious, especially in the current world with all its problems and challenges. There are different sorts of fears, of course. There is a very real fear of spiders, which I have, or heights, which I also have, or roller coasters, which I have a bit of, or exams, which I definitely have, and some of you might as well. There's also the fear of whatever is in your attic, especially when you hear funny noises. I talked about this a couple of weeks ago about the mice in my attic. But yes, indeed, I'm about to tell you the mice in the attic, part 2, the revenge. So last week, I found at afternoon time, after class, I thought I'd sit down and watch the news, and I found there was no TV reception. I obviously thought it was a problem with my television. So I checked the TV in the other room, still no reception. Everything was dead. It came up on the screen that there was an aerial issue. I checked the aerial outside, thought everything looks fine. I plugged and unplugged the aerial cable, and still nothing. And then I realized, I'm going to have to go up to the attic again. Well, after my last encounter with the SAS mice, I was a little scared. Had they eaten through the cables of the aerial to lure me up there? All sorts of things were going through my mind. Eventually, I got the courage up and got my children prepared with some weapons. So up I went into the attic. And sure enough, the little aerial box had a red light. But it was much worse than I could possibly imagine. They hadn't eaten through the cable. There was no sign of the mice, in fact, at all. But they had unplugged the aerial from the main socket. I know it sounds incredible, unbelievable, but my SAS mice who live in the attic had literally unplugged a plug from a socket. The truth is, I still don't know how it happened, and that's what makes it even scarier. Is there an SAS mouse, or could there even be something more sinister? I tell you what, I'm not going back up in the attic to check anytime soon. Many fears are tangible, physical. My now fear of the attic, my fear of the SAS mice, my fear of spiders, my fear of Man United winning. What is much harder, perhaps, are the fears that are often inside our heads. The worries, the stress. That's often not physical, but an anxiety that builds up, possibly because of tiredness, possibly because of a feeling of lack of control, possibly because of a feeling that the future looks rubbish. Talk of a mutant virus on television can even conjure up fear. Why do they use the word mutant virus? It sounds so scary. Many times these are fears that will never come true. We worry an awful lot about things that are never going to happen. But it still can be very difficult to switch those fears off. It's not like going to the dentist, which some people have a fear of. That goes away for most of the year. The fears that are with many of us at the minute, which are inside our heads, inside our hearts, those fears stay with us. They're hard to get away from. And at the minute, some of our fear and anxiety can feel magnified by a lack of physical contact. We don't have those random chats, those silly chats with friends who normally can help us reset. can help us keep a better perspective. Or simply they're just there to talk to hug. How much do you miss hugs? This week is Children's Mental Health Week, when we're encouraged to talk about our worry, anxiety, and stress. And of course, this is the single best cure for all our fears. Just talk if you can. And remember too that exercise is really important. Of course, this week we've launched our Fit in February. And it's been wonderful for me to try and get up in the morning and do a mile just to help the count in our race against fitties. What a brilliant idea. What a brilliant way to motivate ourselves in the dark and the cold. A little bit of exercise can alleviate some of our fears and worries and stress. The theme of Children's Mental Health Week this year is to express yourself, which is a wonderful idea. Through music, art, poetry, the clothes you wear, your appearance, we're all encouraged to do something that truly makes us feel good. So that's my challenge to all of you this week. Express yourself. I'm having an open team chat this evening at 5 p.m, just in a half-hour slot, and it's simply going to be called the Social Club, where anyone will be encouraged to join me for online chat and gossip. Just send me a little message on Teams and I'll link you in. 5 p.m. this evening. Eventually, I'd love to link people together between houses, because I know there's a lot of chat going on within houses. I'd like to link people between houses. I'd love to be able to link some seniors with some of the junior SPS pupils. The seniors can share their wisdom, and maybe you'll all have a bit of crack. Most of all, I want to be able to let you express yourself. Fears exist in all of us. I encourage you not to let them take over or dominate your life, even if there might be something lurking in the attic. Let's listen now to those ancient Jewish words of encouragement from the book of the prophet Isaiah. Do not fear, because God is with you. Here's Anna now with our reading from Isaiah 41.
Don't panic. I'm with you. There's no need to fear, for I'm your God. I'll give you strength. I'll help you. I'll hold you steady, keep a firm grip on you. Count on it. Everyone who had it in for you will end up out in the cold. Real losers. Those who worked against you will end up empty-handed, nothing to show for their lives. When you go out looking for your old adversaries, you won't find them. Not a trace of your old enemies, not even a memory. That's right, because I, your God, have a firm grip on you, and I'm not letting go. I'm telling you, don't panic. I'm right here to help you.
I just thought I would express myself in a very different way. A little bit of didgeridoo after the service. It's been a long time. I need to practice. Wonderful way to de-stress. And so I want to finish now with a prayer. And this is a very famous prayer by one of my heroes, a man called Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who was a theologian from Germany, so a guy who studied a lot about God. And he was sent to a concentration camp because he objected to Hitler and to everything that was going on with the Nazis. And sadly, he was hanged just 1 week before the Allies liberated his camp. But Dietrich Bonhoeffer wrote this prayer. O God, early in the morning I cry to you. Help me to pray and to concentrate my thoughts on you. I cannot do this alone. In me there is darkness, but with you there is light. I am lonely, but you do not leave me. I am feeble in heart, but with you there is help. I am restless, but with you there is peace. In me there is bitterness, but with you there is patience. I do not understand your ways, but you know the way for me. Restore me to liberty and enable me so to live now that I may answer before you and before men. Lord, whatever this day may bring, may your name be praised. Amen. And now we finish with a chorus, a really upbeat chorus actually, which reflects our battle with fitties, the Fit in February challenge. One more step along the world I go. Thank you again to Mrs. Simpsons and to Madeline. One more step along the world I go.